Okay, welcome to the public hearing that we're going to have tonight before the Borough Council meeting. The public hearing is for ordinance 1288 for the vacation of Perkiomen Street. And with that, can I ask one favor? I'm having a little bit of ear problem tonight, so if you could please talk into the microphone, it would really help me out. So I don't have to say what 12 times, okay? So Attorney.
All right. So now is the time and place that has been scheduled for the public hearing with respect to the vacation of a portion of Perkiomen Street and the scheduled upcoming ordinance under 1288, an ordinance by the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, vacating a portion of the Perkiomen Street and providing for severability and an effective date. I believe Mr. McLean is here on behalf of the applicant, and you can commence your case.
Well, I guess, thank you. And Chris McLean from Fitzpatrick Lynch and Buba. If I remember correctly, this is a continuation of the public hearing from June 20th. So if you want to hear my spiel again, I'll happily give it to you. But it was part of the transcript, part of the record. We're here obviously to answer any questions. I believe we adjourned for a procedural issue. So again, I will happily walk through it again if you would like, or we will just answer whatever questions you may have.
Has anything changed since the date of the application?
No.
Okay. Let me then begin with, does council have any questions for the applicant's attorney? All right. Any questions for members of the audience or people who have indicated that they wish to be objectors?
Hi, good evening. My name is Attorney Carly Sebia, and I'm here on behalf of Christopher Romig and Barbara Lutt Romig, who are the owners of the property located at 450 South 2nd Street. And, as a preliminary matter, we first have a concern about the procedure that was followed to get here tonight. Our position is that this petition is procedurally deficient under Section 1732A of the Borough Code. That statute requires a petition from a majority in interest and number of abutting property owners. I was not present at the last hearing on June 20th, but assuming that you all have a copy of that petition, you'll notice it references that there are 3 abutting properties and there's only 1 property owner who's joining in the petition.
Am I correct, though, in stating, Attorney Sebia, that the percentage ownership by the petitioner is 53.87% of the street frontage along Perkiomen Street?
Sure. Well, our position is that that's not enough. You need to both have the majority in interest, which would be that percentage, but you also need to have a majority in number. And I have case law and a short letter directed to the Borough Council discussing that issue.
Okay, I'll take a look at it.
And our first argument really is just the plain reading of the ordinance, where it clearly states that any person or persons constituting a majority in number and interest of the owner of the real estate abutting an area not opened as a street or abutting upon an existing street or portion of a street may petition council to vacate a street. And I have copies of the 2 cases that I cite in that.
I'm familiar with the cases, yes. Go ahead, Ms. Sebia, or Attorney Sebia.
Sure. And then the only final closing is we certainly recognize that Borough Council has a lot of discretion in street vacation matters. So just to the extent that this vacation is granted, we would just request that all recorded plans, public documents clearly state that the vacation is subject to the private easement rights held by our client as well as the other adjoining property owner.
And to be clear, I am aware of the case law that you're citing, but you are also aware that the borough itself has very little interest in the Perkiomen Street itself. We can no longer activate it or use it because the plot plans have been essentially unused for more than 21 years. So the borough has no essential ability to continue the usage of this. And your client, I assume, you're a very good attorney, Attorney Sevia. I know you're aware of this. Your client will be able to obtain half of this ownership right via quiet title action. That is correct, right?
Correct. Yes.
So-
Well, even without a title action. they would
Correct.
be
I mean,
entitled to
it will by operation of law, it will essentially split along the midline and will go half to
Correct.
Westrom and half to the adjoining property owners, and they will obtain that property essentially free of charge. Quiet title action simply allows you to, formalize the deed.
Certainly, I think though there are also some considerations, perhaps maybe better argued at the land development through the land development process. But where this paper street is located is in a conservation zone
Easement.
area.
Correct.
So, we certainly have some concerns. My understanding is that 7.5 acres of wooded area was deforested as part of the initial building of those 4 buildings. So our client has some concerns regarding, drainage, stormwater, and even just the privacy concerns of those trees, the few that are remaining being removed.
And as you understand, and as you correctly pointed out, Attorney Sevia, you are aware that within the land development process, which will be part of the next planning commission meeting, your client will certainly have the authority and will be in front of the planning commission with me there. And those will be something that will be addressed.
Absolutely. And I'm sure it's their intention to participate in that process. Again, their concern is really that the proper process is followed. And, ultimately our concern here tonight is that in order for a petition to require there to be a hearing, it needs to be signed on, for lack of better words, by a majority in number as well as interest of the property owners.
And you also understand the borough could, of its own volition, choose to vacate the street, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where
So, which kind of makes the argument somewhat of a moot point. And again, I'm certainly not, attempting to disrespect the argument that you're making and the legal, essentially the legal support for that. But the borough can, because the borough has no particular interest in Perkiomen Street that has never actually been activated and or used as part of any plot plan, even under section 1732 sub A, that would not be something that we would normally address.
Well, if the intent is to convert this from a 1732A petition to a vacation that's initiated by Borough Council, we would just ask that be made clear on the record, because again, there's a petition here tonight. The developer's attorney is the one presenting the petition. So it just needs to be made clear that that's the intent of Borough Council, is to essentially convert this into a different process.
Understood. Mr. McLean or Attorney McLean, do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
No, Mr. Orwick. I appreciate the comments about stormwater and trees and privacy and that sort of thing. And if you'll recall, I mentioned we anticipated those, and those are land development issues. I 100% agree with you. That's really where we need to dive into those issues, or when we have an engineered plan, a stormwater plan, a stormwater configuration for the proposed 5th building, and it's back in front of your planning commission, your engineers, Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, and Conservation District. I appreciate the procedural issues, but I believe we addressed that at the last meeting, and you've also just addressed that one way or the other, this can move forward. So I have nothing else to add. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other members of the audience who wish to be heard? Or Attorney Sevia, do you have anything you'd like to add? Sorry.
No, there's nothing more I want to add.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Sevia.
Hi, Becky Bradley, Executive Director of the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. Just wanted to make sure that everyone knew under Section 304 of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code that the LVPC has the right to review the street vacation proposal as an advisor to the borough prior to action by council. And so, and I understand based on what Attorney McLean had to say, that there's also other things that are proposed to go forward, which we would also review. But those are 2 separate reviews under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further questions?
I have a question. So for somebody who's not an attorney, I understand what the Romig's counsel is saying, and I understand what the developers council is saying. what's the difference if we do it the way the Romigs are suggesting? What's the difference for the borough?
Honestly, there will be no functional difference. The difference would simply be the way it's
The
enacted.
process.
And Attorney Sebia, you're welcome to respond to this, but the answer is, even if we did everything that Attorney Sebia is saying, this would simply yet again delay it, and we would be able to vacate it of our own volition. Am I correct in that interpretation, Ms. Sebia?
I mean, essentially, yes, but I think what is the difference is this something that council has initiated and is seeking to do, or is this something that the developer is looking to do? And I think that's an important distinction to make on the record.
And in this case, it is the developer has filed a petition with this body to ask to have the street vacated. The street is not used by the borough. I believe Mr. Pepe has indicated that it has not been used, and as Mr. McLean's evidence has indicated, it has not ever been used.
Trees are older than anybody in this room.
Correct. It's quite old. Well,
So,
fair enough.
Sure.
so
Sure. The
I-
trees are older than everybody in this room.
I apologize, I'm not great with names. So I understand what's the effect on, I understand the right entity, organization should be listed, and I agree with that. Is there any exposure to the borough by being the one that does it? Is there any?
So I'll be blunt with you. So if Attorney Sebia, she could on her behalf, if they wish to challenge that, they could possibly sue the borough to argue that it should not have been vacated this way. I will be honest, it's a difficult equitable argument because the court would ultimately conclude, as I said, that the borough could have done this on its own volition. That said, if the borough council is more comfortable, and I apologize, Mr. McLean, the borough council is more comfortable wishing to do this on its own, the borough council could do that.
Councilman Lavenberg?
So if we, excuse me, if we choose to do it on our own, which,
You essentially would just do.
oh, no, I'm going further.
Okay.
There's cost involved with that, and it will end up costing the residents more money to essentially get to where we're going to get anyhow, correct?
Correct.
I believe this was discussed in committee several times, Mr. Brown. So does that, I guess, kind of count as the borough having a discussion regarding the?
Well, no, that would
No.
not be a public hearing pursuant to the borough code.
Okay.
That would not. However, it does show that the borough has considered this in several different scenarios, that they think it's appropriate that this be done because it's a developable property.
Thank you.
And again, ultimately, borough council has to make this decision as to.
So if borough council approves it the way the developer's asking for, and we follow all our procedures in the process, we have less exposure. Our residents have less exposure.
Your residents would have less exposure if you were to essentially do it of your own volition because of, it sounds like Attorney Sebia and her clients wish to object to this. However, again, I will point out on the record and to the Romigs and to any objectors that ultimately the borough's decision with respect to this parcel, we don't have any ownership rights of it. And this would be something that many municipalities simply go through the process of vacating streets that have never been used over the course of their regular business throughout the year. So that is a decision borough council could make if you wish to, again, essentially move to the next hearing and then by your own volition, just advertise an ordinance to vacate the street. You could do so. And again, I point out to the Romigs and to any objectors who are adjoining these property, their concerns are land use related. They will obtain essentially free property through the street vacation process.
Councilman Lavenberg?
So if we continue with this process and they decide to object or file a lawsuit, I don't know what the proper term is, and it will end up costing us money through paying you for attorney fees through the court system. So you have that option, or we can start over and do the borough vacating. What I want to know, which is least expensive, because it sounds like they're going to appeal and send it to the courts where we'll have to spend more money
If
to
that's
get the same answer. So I'm just wondering, what's the least expensive for our residents?
Well, in that case, if there is an appeal, the answer would be, it would be simple to essentially you guys you go back to doing 2 meetings in September. So you could advertise the ordinance to vacate the street for the first meeting of September. Shane, we would have adequate time within the 7 and 30 rule pursuant to the Borough Code. We should.
Yeah, because this is the hearing, so we don't have to worry about 15 days. So yeah, we would be okay. Because the council meeting is September 8th.
Yeah. So, Mr. McLean, do you understand what we're talking about here?
I do. And ultimately, it's your decision. We would prefer a vote this evening. We've asked and
I
had
know.
a few procedural issues. And I appreciate Mr. Laudenberg's concern about costs. If there is an appeal filed, that can be mooted in the next meeting cycle, and a new ordinance initiated by the borough could be adopted and moot any appeal and litigation in any event. So I think that
Understood, but bear in mind that we still would be doubling the cost for the borough in that case. And understand, Mr. Attorney McLean, that's not intended to be difficult,
I understand.
but that would be the scenario that we're discussing.
I just wanted to point out another alternative.
Yep.
Thank you.
So I would be in favor of the least expensive to the taxpayers, and that looks like the borough vacating, and I would prefer that.
Okay, I have a question to that statement, and I need your help.
Yep.
Solicitor. Sometimes the least expensive is, a lot of times, the least expensive is the right way in the long run. What is the normal standard for this situation where we don't have any use, we being the borough?
We would typically, and I think we've done this in the past several times, Shane, you have an ordinance at, some one time a year where you just list a bunch of streets that are mere paper alleys or paper streets, and they just get vacated.
We have probably 400 paper alley sections in this town that could be vacated.
Yeah. So that's the
We've-
typical procedure.
We've taken it upon ourselves on several of them, but not all of them.
Yeah.
To do that, and we've had those discussions at committee. But this is the first time. I don't know if it's the first time, but first time in a long time we've had somebody come to us to vacate.
Yeah.
The petition.
But
Okay.
again, it's logic. In this case, it's logical that they would come to us to file the petition for vacation because they're seeking a land development. And this, if I remember correctly, it's because of utility easements that the reason you're filing for the vacation.
Ultimately, we believe our half of the vacated road will help with the stormwater design. We haven't formalized that yet, but in talking to the engineer, he said it'd help if I could get some more room for spray or drip irrigation. Forgive me, I don't recall which. So that was really
And that would be something that LVPC would comment upon and so would our planning commission during the planning process, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So I would favor Mr. Lavenberg's
Well,
requirement
again,
if that is
is now the time to talk about which option to, or do they have to wait for the ordinance?
We would wait for the ordinance piece to be done. So we will advertise, or I believe that the intention will be to advertise an ordinance to vacate the street separate and distinct from this particular ordinance for the next meeting. Is that correct?
Well, so the ordinance is on the agenda. I think when that section comes up, I think that's when they should probably have that debate among council
Yeah.
members.
And
that's when it would be
we
approved.
can amend, that ordinance can be amended suitably for the next meeting to say upon petition or via appropriate remedy by the borough itself, we can make it sua sponte to the borough that would address that issue. Attorney Sebia, does that satisfy your client? Bear in mind, like I said, it seems like this will not stop the process. It will simply delay it if that's his intention. Do you understand that?
I don't think it's a fair representation to say that his intent is to delay. His intent is to make sure that the letter of the law is followed.
Understood. I apologize for that. I'm trying to be forthright with Mr. Romig to let him, because I'm not trying to obfuscate the facts that in the end, like I said, the borough doesn't have a true interest in this other than it's a street that's not used. So if there's no reason to keep it open on the record. Okay. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, we're good. So the last part for the actual record, is there anybody else who wishes to make any statements with respect to the street vacation and ordinance 1288 for the record?
Since the LVPC does have a 30-day right to review the state street vacation request, we have a full commission meeting next week. We would appreciate if you could send the application to us tomorrow morning, and we'll spin it around to keep your schedule going as best we can, since it's obvious that there's a great partnership and dialogue going on here.
Mr. McLean, would you be able to submit that application to LVPC?
Yes.
Thank you. Does that satisfy Attorney Sebia? Does that satisfy as well? You can just stand up and yell it. I think Chris can hear that, right?
I could hear that. Too many Chris's in this room.
Yeah, there's a lot of Chris's in this room. There's a Chris Roaming, a Chris McLean, and a Chris Dufresne. So
I would just want to say one thing on behalf of the Borough Council and the Romig family. Thank you for attending, and thank you for being a check and balance.
And you understand, like I said, we're doing the best we can, but
Well,
there are.
So also, I mean, just to be clear though, this is still on your council agenda. Council has to decide at that point.
Yep.
As to what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That being said, the hearing is declared closed, and we will address this issue as part of the regularly scheduled meeting.
6:21.
6:21.
6:1. So the public hearing ends at 6:21.
Yeah, I would you just table it.
And it stays tabled forever.
Well, no.
Are we gonna start right away?
To re-advertise that. Can we do that all? Yeah, we can
Yeah, just
agree
give
to
me
do
a
it.
second.
Because we can agree to amend the ordinance and re-advertise to add the sua sponte language. That's the way to do it.
It's always expensive.
Okay.
Good.
Go ahead.
All right, with that, we're going to call the Borough Council meeting for August 17th to order at 6:22 p.m. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, we have all council members present, and Councilwoman Bram and Councilman Balliet are on Zoom. First, we have personal appeals part 1. If anyone from the public has a personal appeal, please come to the podium and state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes for your public appeal.
Michael Shirey. I was here at the meeting in June, requesting some type of help for the parking on Ridge Street between 6th and 7th from the student parking at the high school. And I was wondering where this process is at.
You want me to?
I was on
Yeah.
that meeting. I will address it.
Committee. Okay.
At this time, Borough Council has decided that we've addressed the parking issue numerous times. And when we do it, it moves it to another neighborhood. And then when another municipality does it, it moves it to another neighborhood. We're just spreading out. We're going to have our first responders look and come back to us with what are the safety sections to where it's more important, not that it's all important, but what's more important for public safety. And we will address the whole situation at one shot, at one bite of the apple, essentially.
Okay. Because the fire department is on the corner of the street.
Yep.
And the street is quite congested with them parking on both sides.
Yep.
And I understand you just move them around, but eventually they'll get tired of walking 6 blocks to school.
Well, when I was 16, I just like to drive.
Well,
It was, yeah. Yep.
okay.
Yes. So we would thank you for coming and bringing that to our attention. And thank you for recognizing that it is just spreading.
Yeah.
So that's why we're going to get our first responders involved, because of one of the things that you just said.
I will add though, if there's a driveway or a street, an alley or a yellow line on the curb or fire hydrant and they're parking, if they're parking illegally, you can report them and get them ticketed.
Well, that's part of the problem also. I do have a fire hydrant directly across the street. I've called 3 times for cars parked in front of the fire hydrant.
And to whom are you calling?
The non-emergency police. The police officer comes, he gives them a $25 ticket, which is almost peanuts today. And my feeling is it really doesn't send a message to them to behave. They just park there and the car stays parked there after the ticket is given. So if there is some type of emergency that you needed to get to the fire hydrant, it's kind of useless.
Are we limited by the state of what we can set the parking fines at?
So for parking, I think it's set by ordinance. Yeah, by ordinance. I think parking is set by ordinance. There's
It's
not
not, it's not in your fee resolution. It's not.
No,
in your
that's
set
right.
Fee resolution, it's done by
Yeah,
ordinance.
it's done by ordinance.
Is that
Which is how it's
something
enforced.
that we haven't addressed in a long time? As far as I
Um,
know, the last time it was like 15, it went to 25, that
Yeah,
maybe 20
I
years
think it's
ago.
probably been about 8 or 9 years.
Okay, I
It
know
hasn't
it
been-
happened since I'm on here.
And it hasn't happened since I've been here, so at least 6 years.
Yeah, I think it's been about 8 or 9.
Would that go to public safety? Would that go to budget and finance, GA?
Well, I think I think budget and finance, but I think the police department is really who we want to talk to about that, simply because one of the other things they're going to be able to do is tell us what is consistent with other communities and
Right, I would agree with
Things
that.
like-
What's Allentown, Bethlehem?
right. And what's
I mean, a township versus a city and a borough is different,
So
so.
how about if we put it to public safety, one member of council who's on budget and finance is on public safety. And the police already go to the public safety committee meeting, so it's not adding an extra meeting to them, but it's getting addressed. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes.
Okay,
I think we should address the fine. 25 is, yeah, most kids,
we can talk that out in committee and then,
that's
take
2
a
hours
vote
of
in
work
public.
for most kids.
right.
I mean, this particular fire hydrant that I'm speaking of is right in front of the weight room where the police officer.
Right.
So I kind of feel it useless for me to call. They should see it when they pull in with the cruiser and initiate the process of giving the fine.
Well,
But
to be fair though, the police don't see everything as quickly as you do, so it may be
Well,
faster to report it.
I would agree with you. But when they're pulling in the driveway to go up to the building to use the weight room, I would hope that they would see that the car is parked in front of the fire hydrant. That's all.
We will take it to public safety.
Okay,
And it was in public safety last time, which is why we knew, we did talk about it in committee.
okay.
There was no vote to bring forward because we weren't changing anything, but we'll take the next suggestion. We are looking for suggestions on how to solve it, because parking is a constant issue for the borough of Emmaus.
I guess I would just like our street to be one of the streets like everyone else's seems to be in the general area, free up this congestion that if people come to visit you, they can park in the public spot to visit whoever's on that street. And right now they can't do that.
We understand your concerns, and we will talk about it in public safety. Thank you
Okay.
very much for
All right.
coming to the meeting and addressing it. Any other public appeals? Anyone online? No one's
no,
online.
just council members.
All right, next we have community minute. Does anyone from council have a community minute? Councilman
Sure.
Anders?
I was able to attend and volunteer at the Emmaus Youth Association wiffle ball tournament this weekend. They had 36 teams from children to adult age. It was a well-attended event down at the ball fields of Williams and Kiwanis. Shane's actually son participated, and his team actually was one of the first place winners. it was a good
Wow.
afternoon, beautiful day. And, our local youth association to raise funds does this tournament. I think it's their 5th year. And they just keep building on it. And it's a great little event for the people who come to town. They're not just from here, they're from all over the place. And it was just a good day, and a shout out to the youth association for putting on that event.
Thank you. Councilman Lavenberg.
Yes, I would like to publicly thank our borough manager, Shane Pepe.
I'm sorry.
I would like to publicly thank our borough manager, Shane Pepe, for what started out 18 months ago as an idea for our 250th celebration here in the borough of Emmaus. Started with an idea, then he organized it, then through his leadership, everything came and progressed and got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was such a great celebration. I'm proud of this borough. I'm proud of Shane. Shane not only worked all 3 days, pretty much was the nuts and bolts of the whole operation. And his whole family participated all weekend, which is greatly appreciated, as they often do. And I'm really proud of all the work he did, and he deserves public recognition because he could have just been like any other borough and just gone through the motions, but he put hundreds of hours into this. And not only, a lot of people don't know this, but he went to all the festivals in the Lehigh Valley. He and who was the other person? I know there were two.
Hayden Rindy from the Main Street Partners.
From Main Street Partner. They went to other festivals and contacted all the vendors at all these events. And it paid off because we had probably over the weekend, over 300 vendors. And it was highly successful. And I just think he deserves that recognition. So thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
I would piggyback off of what Councilman Lavenberg just said. I was going to wait for president's business, but since you addressed the beginning, no,
It's nice to do it when people are here.
No,
Nobody's here when you do that.
But I want to also recognize other people also, as far as the America 250 goes. Borough Council would like to thank everyone involved. I'm reading because I hope I didn't forget anyone, but I guarantee you I will. So forgive me when I do. Borough Council would like to thank everyone involved in the America 250 event that we held July 24th through July 26th. Thanks to the fire and ambulance departments, the police department, our public works department, our borough administration team, Mayor Gilbert, Borough Manager Pepe, the teams at Emmaus Community Park and at the Emmaus Swimming Pool, all the event sponsors, the event volunteers, the East Penn School District team, the bands, and the people who provide entertainment, the vendors, local community groups, and local businesses who participated in the event, and everyone who attended this great event, whether they were an Emmaus resident or not. I really enjoyed the event and appreciate all the effort that was involved. Thank you very much. I understand what goes through for that type of event. I chair the Emmaus Halloween Parade. I'm fortunate enough to have a template from the previous year every year that Kathy Mintzer put together for me, for us. So I know how hard it is to run a one-day smaller event with a game plan. So I appreciate the work that the whole team did. Thank you. Anyone else with a community minute?
I do.
Mayor Gilbert?
Yeah. On a Wednesday, we have Fuel Up with First Responders. I think all of you got a copy of this flyer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Wednesday from 11 to 1. Come on out, meet your first responders. This time we also have a mini school bus. So she will be there, or the bus will be there along with the representative from the bus company, and they will be talking about bus safety with the kids. So come on out. We have snacks and school supplies and giveaways. So come on out, meet everybody, and have some fun.
Thank you. Any other community minutes? A lot going on. That's good. All right. Special presentations, Community of Distinction Award presentation.
First, we're gonna
lead right into this. Such a great community. For those who don't know me, my name's Tori Morgan, and I have the pleasure and honor of chairing the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission and being here tonight with all of you to recognize you for being the community of distinction, which, mind you, this isn't just a sign. This is a badge of honor, quite honestly. Way back in the day, I'm not going to tell you how many years ago because I'm going to date myself. I also sat in your seat for South Whitehall Township, and we were also a community of distinction. And I have to tell you, it was probably one of the proudest days to be recognized as a community full of dedication, people that truly cared about where they lived, worked, and played. So you should be very, very honored. I'd like to thank all of you for allowing us to come tonight. So much great work is done behind the scenes that people just never see. So I'm so glad you talk about it at public meetings. So each year we give out awards for planning excellence in land development, open space, revitalization, transportation, environment, and community planning. But there is one award above all other awards that goes to each community once a year, and that is a community of distinction. You are recognized for a fantastic place to live, work, and play, and that's a huge honor. In December, during our annual gala, Emmaus was named our 2025 Community of Distinction for its visionary approach to municipal planning, integrating long-term community goals with smart infrastructure and economic development strategies. The borough's commitment to thoughtful growth is evident in its update to zoning, subdivision, and development codes in line with the Southwest Lehigh Multi-Municipal Comprehensive Plan, ensuring that every project supports the community's future. Through strategic ordinance updates and comprehensive park, recreation, and trail studies, as well as targeted investments in stormwater, sewer, and public health infrastructure, Emmaus demonstrates how proactive planning can improve quality of life while guiding sustainable development. Quite an accomplishment. Emmaus, you truly, truly are a community of distinction. And now I'm going to hand things over. It's my honor to Executive Sequel to talk a little bit more about this wonderful honor.
Cut off Becky. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lehigh. Man, knocked the paperclip off. I am Lehigh County Executive Josh Siegel, and I just want to thank the members of Borough Council, Shane and Mayor Gilbert, for having us here tonight to present this incredible award and distinction. Actually, I had the privilege of attending one of the first events during my interim period as County Executive-elect. One of the first events I went to was the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission's December Gala, and I got to see this award be awarded in part by my predecessor. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Phillips Armstrong, who really was around, obviously, when the award was awarded. He's now actually Commissioner Armstrong, so that's an interesting dynamic for me. But it really is, honestly, one of the great privileges of being county executive is to get to see so many of our distinct and unique and really individual communities sort of chart their own destiny. And I think that's what a Community Distinction Award is about, is an individual community charting its own destiny and trying to find its own identity. What I like is that no community here is trying to be derivative of another. Emmaus is trying to be Emmaus. And when I think about my responsibility as county executive, having an incredible community, an incredible borough like this makes my job 1,000 times easier, because I think really, while you might come for a job or the quality of a school district, you stay because a place is a great place to live. And I think that's what everybody wants at the end of the day. I think most folks want a life well lived. And I think a life well lived involves quality of life and quality of place. It's about what happens after your 9 to 5. It's that 5 to 9 that really makes a difference in your life. It's the parks and trails you take your kids to on the weekends to exercise or walk your dog. It's the restaurant and Main Street that you get to patronize. And Emmaus has so much that adds to its distinct charm and its character. And it's really, I think, one of the gems of the Lehigh Valley that makes this place so successful. And frankly, all the success and the headlines we see, the Eli Lillys and the Nokias that choose to invest and grow here, is in part because of the communities like Emmaus, who see the value in long-term vision. And I think Vision 2030 in Emmaus, I had the opportunity to sort of review it and look at it. It's really an incredible comprehensive plan. And as we look outside and it's raining, the $9 million that you guys have invested in I&I is very much appreciated. As county executive, one of the things we oversee and obviously help govern is the LCA. And I can tell you that it may not be the sexiest issue in local governance, but stormwater and I&I is very important. And on days like this, we really, really appreciate it, especially down at Klein's Island.
I'm impressed you read it.
Hey, listen, I'm a nerd. Nerds rule the world. So, but sincerely, it's a real pleasure and an honor to be here with you tonight. And as I said, I think community is a distinction. It's well earned, and it's one of the reasons that, you know, Emmaus isn't just a great place to live, but it's why you're such a strong part of the fabric of the 24 plus municipalities that make up Lehigh County. And I like that you guys realize it's not a zero-sum game. When you do well, Allentown does well. When Emmaus does well, the whole Lehigh Valley does well. And each individual community taking the time to invest in itself is really that spirit of friendly competition about trying to make each community a better place to live is really what feeds the lifeblood of the Lehigh Valley. So I look forward to continuing to serve as your executive, to be a partner and making sure we can continue to help and support in those investments, whether it's stormwater, whether it's parks and recreation or public safety. You've got an ally in the county government center, just as you did in Executive Armstrong. And I plan to be very, very present. We've had very productive meetings with your manager, who's incredible. Shane, frankly, you're one of the best in the Valley. And it's been a real honor to work with you and your team. So thank you.
Thank you.
Becky. Now my pleasure to introduce Becky Bradley.
How can I go after both of Tori and Executive Siegel? So I just wanted to see if we could get a picture with the sign. We have 6 signs here for you guys to put around the borough, so we can continue to promote your good work on social media, and then invite you to 2 upcoming things. First of all, we're going to be releasing with Lehigh County, as well as the Urban Land Institute and Northampton County as a partner, the region's first housing supply and attainability strategy on the 26th in the morning down at DeSales University. If you're unable to make it, we'll be looping back with all of you to see if you want individual presentations. I know you actively contributed to that plan and have been great partners with us along the way and with the Southwest Lehigh Multi-Municipal Comprehensive Planning Group. So we wanted to say a thank you for that and invite you to that. And then also the General Assembly, which is a meeting of all the Lehigh Valley's local governments, which will be on September 10th at the LVPC's office at 5:30, and there's pizza. So I'm not sure how we want to do photographs, if it's now later, how all that works.
I think
Oh.
just recess.
Recess for right now and do it now. So we will recess the council meeting at 6:42 PM.
You want all the council?
All right, we will come out of, we'll come out of recess at 6:45 PM. Next, we have the reading of council meeting minutes. First, we have the July 20th, 2026 public hearing minutes. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve? Councilman Brown makes a motion. Is there a second? Councilman Lavenberg, any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. Passes 7-0. Next is July 2026 council meeting minutes. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve? Councilman Anders, is there a second? Councilwoman Buckman, any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. Passes 7-0. We have no decisions on bids. Next is communication. The first communication is Gerald Ray Brown Jr., resignation from the auxiliary police. Thank you for your efforts, Mr. Brown. Thank you for your service, Mr. Brown, not efforts. Officer Klaus, letter of resignation. I'd like to thank Officer Klaus for his service to the Borough of Emmaus and our residents. We have correspondence from the Emmaus Main Street Partners requesting the use of the borough-owned parking lot. This event has already been approved. This request is just for the parking lot because that was not on the original request. Motion by Councilman Lavenberg to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Anders. Any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? No? Say no. I didn't say no. Passes 7-0. Rough night.
Tough crowd over here.
Next, we have Andrew Lopez, letter of resignation with the ambulance department effectively immediately. Thank you for your service, Mr. Lopez. Does anyone else on council have a communication that is not in this packet? Next, we have a borough engineers report. There is no borough engineers report. Solicitors report.
No report tonight. There will be some items for executive session to discuss.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Progress.
Unfinished business part 1, we will address that in the committee, which is our practice. We have new business. We have 3 ordinances. We will address them during the committee section of the agenda tonight. Unfinished business part 2, we have none. Items not on the agenda subject to Rule 9. Does anybody have anything that's not on the agenda? Hearing none. Next, we have the mayor's report. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. You have my report, my quarterly report in your iPads this evening. On August 7th, I had a ribbon cutting for a new business located at 1301 Chestnut Street. It's a business called Quick Cell Phone Repair. They not only repair cell phones, but they will repair laptops and gaming consoles, but they also sell e-bikes and electronic scooters. On September 9th, from 1 to 4 p.m., the Pennsylvania Office of Homeland Security, in partnership with the Pennsylvania Attorney General's Office, is hosting a virtual workshop on cybercrime prevention. This workshop is designed for older adults, caregivers, family members, and anyone who supports seniors. This informative session will provide practical tips on recognizing online threats and financial scams, safeguarding personal information, and knowing what steps to take if you become a victim of fraud. The workshop will be held in the community room, and our officers will be on hand to answer any questions. If you cannot attend, you can register to attend online, and the information for that can be found on the Police Department Facebook page. Progress.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Next, we have the Public Works Committee report. Chairman Balliet.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing for official action tonight. Our next meeting is Monday, September 14th at 4:45. With that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Next, we have Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee report. Chairman Brown.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the agenda for 2 items for official action. The first one, we're going to have Ordinance 1288, an ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, vacating a portion of Perkiomen Street and providing for severability and an effective date of, we don't have an effective date, do we?
No. So based on at the end of the public hearing and the discussion at the public hearing and hearing from Mr. Romig and the LVPC, it is my recommendation that we table this till the first September meeting, at which time LVPC will have comment, and then this ordinance can be acted on at that time.
Before you do, part of your motion was for them to pay for the cost of this ordinance.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Yeah, understand that we need to repeal that. I mean, you can't charge them for something that you're doing on your own volition now.
Correct. They can pay for what has already been done, but you will pay to do the new advertisement that will be under.
That was, the payment was under Westrum's direction to do.
Correct. Westrum was paying for the original
Correct. Not the
1732
Romic,
petition.
or the representative of Romic.
Correct. They are not paying for this. The borough would pay for it of its own volition.
Correct.
For the re-advertisement.
Yeah.
But that will be subject to, and I will note, LVPC has not commented upon that. And I believe that Mr. McLean has confirmed that. So therefore, LVPC has to comment. That's why this is being held up.
Yeah, and just thank you, Mr. Solicitor, for that. Before we table it, because I think when you table it, there is no discussion. I just want to bring it forth, though, that I do have a question, if I may, Mr. President. I don't know if this is appropriate or not.
As long as it's appropriate.
Yeah, you can ask the question.
I do have a curiosity question about the petition. I think it's to Attorney Sylvia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. It identifies 3 separate abutting ownership interests, including the clients of Mr. and Mrs. Romic, but there's also the Williams family, and I don't know the third family. But my question is, a curiosity question is, just because only one family signed the petition and the other two families don't, maybe they don't do it out of protest. How does that, my
So-
question is, how does that work if the other petition members don't sign, even though they were notified?
So, and that's, so I actually will answer that question. It's something Attorney Seavey and I discussed, like, and I've talked about it with Mr. McLean, and I was aware that Mr. Romig submitted this question to Borough Council as well. The answer is the case law is not entirely clear. She does cite the two cases that would indicate that you need both number and percentage, but the case law is not entirely clear, stating that the percentage is what has been typically used within Pennsylvania. Attorney Seavey may disagree with that interpretation, but I think she might also agree that there are other cases showing other answers to that as well.
But again, if I was one of their neighbors and I didn't want to sign because I didn't want to,
They can try to hold it up, but again, that doesn't necessarily mean that they will not be. The borough can do it again of its own volition to do so.
okay. Again, it was just a clarification question, a curiosity
And-
question for myself.
And it is a legal interpretation issue.
Okay.
Hold on, just please, for my sake. No, you come up to the microphone before you speak.
Thank you.
This is not public comment, though. I would point that out.
Okay, so
I asked a question and I feel that
Okay.
she has the ability to.
But that's up to him.
That's up to
Okay.
Chris
It's up to
to
him.
make that determination.
and it is legal.
Yeah, you may do that.
Yes,
It
please.
is your prerogative
Please.
under Robert's rules to do so.
Please,
And I just want to provide clarification. From your question, it seems to suggest that you're saying there's 3 residential property owners. There's actually only 2. So the 3 property owners are the Foundry Flats, the Romigs, and the Williams.
Okay,
So neither the Romigs nor the Williams have agreed with the petition. So the only party the only party consenting to the petition is the party bringing the petition.
understand.
Who has 53% of the
53,
adjoining
yeah.
property, correct?
I have not independently verified that, so I will take.
All right,
your-
well, thank you for that clarification. I was on the assumption there was 3 other neighbors abutted.
good answer,
Thank
too.
you.
I have not independently verified that. Good answer. Great answer. I don't know, but I'll call you in the morning.
Our borough engineer has done that calculation. It's 53%.
Okay. So we're gonna table this per our solicitor's recommendation. And so I'll put that before we go into a table motion. I'll put that in a form of motion if anybody has a question or concern.
Well, can we still ask questions?
We can still ask questions.
It's your
Yes,
it's
go ahead.
your decision.
I just want to make sure that we're doing everything legally correct so that we don't have them coming back later in the process saying we did something wrong and we end up spending more money and still get to the same process, same spot and costing the taxpayers money. I just want to verify that we're doing everything properly.
I will be blunt and tell you, we don't control whether they could appeal any decision they want.
Thank you.
I wish I could give you a more explicit answer, but I cannot.
Unfortunately, anyone can sue anyone. And
And I won't,
that's why we should be doing.
I
it
will
the right
also
way.
say, if I was in their situation, I'd probably be doing the same thing.
Right.
So
That's why we should be doing it the right way. The right way is the cheapest way, almost all the time. No, even if it costs more upfront. Okay,
so I'll make the motion to table it.
so
Yep,
I think
second.
it was,
okay, so second for motion made by Mr. Brown. I think you made the
he
motion.
did make the motion initially in my.
Second by
It does-
Mr. Klavenberg.
We're together.
Okay,
You're in your keep tonight, Mr.
now we
McCrane.
just vote because we cannot have discussion.
Correct. It's a
Okay,
table
so
motion, therefore,
all those-
subject to discussion.
All those in favor of tabling the motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? No. 7-0 passes 7-0 to
He's gonna
table the
vote.
motion. Again, thank you.
Thank you. The next item up for official action is the Western Development Company requesting their security reduction number 5. I believe this is the final. Let's see here. Hold on. I believe it's a payment of 49,708. And I'll put that in the form of a motion. Is there any any concerns or questions about that?
hold on, we only have a motion, so we don't have a second yet.
Sorry.
Second, motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Labenberg. Any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Passes 7-0.
All right, and just a quick update on tonight, you heard from Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. Just a reminder that the Southwest Planning, what do you call that? Multi-government agreement.
About Southwest Comprehensive Plan, I think is what you're referring to.
Yeah, that's coming up, and the committee is recommending to stay with them as a group instead of individually. The other item that we're talking about is some of the zoning. Again, we're talking zoning. Some of the items that need to be changed, we're looking to quickly make those changes, hopefully by the end of the year. The goal is to have a small task force from these one representative from the zoning, one representative from planning, one representative, our borough engineer, Mr. Scott Ott, and borough council to be some members to be available. And I think, am I missing anyone? I don't remember if I'm missing anybody. But it's a small group to make this changes quickly. I'm anticipating up to 4 meetings. I don't want to see this thing being dragged out. And hopefully budget season's coming up. And we don't want to also try to interfere because there's a lot of changes in the sense of ordinance wise. So we try not to bog it down. So, Mr. Labenberg.
Just curious on how those individuals from those bodies are going to be appointed. Is that president, is it council? How does that happen?
Well, I was
Or undecided at this point?
Well, at this point, it was just a committee members if they wanted to join the task force at that time. If you would like to be appointed and be part of it, you're more than welcome to.
No, I'm referring to zoning and planning. Like, is somebody going to be picked from council by president,
Mr.
volunteering, or I'm
I
just
talked to Mr.
curious. It's not a big issue. I'm just wondering what the process is. That's all.
I personally, go ahead, Shane.
From our staff, it'll be Brent Reed. He's our zoning officer. As far as from planning, the planning commission will decide who that representative is. And zoning, I'm assuming you're talking about the zoning hearing board.
Yes.
I would think.
What
that
did
the chair? Well, you just said zoning, but
Oh, sorry.
the chairman of the zoning hearing board will probably appoint somebody.
So that's been thought out already.
I think your discussion would be from council, but I think Mr. Brown is probably kind of heading that up on your behalf.
Correct. So I did reach out to the representatives of Planning Commission, Mr. Mike Gibson, and also Mr. Ted Yobst. So besides that, that's all I have for tonight. We'll be meeting here tomorrow at 4:45. Progress.
I will be virtual tomorrow, Mr. Brown.
All right. If you need somebody to take notes or if you need that time off.
Yeah, if
we
you can, please. I'll be on the road.
Well, then we want to produce safe driving habits, right? So
yeah.
All right.
We'll take notes for you, Mr. Peck.
I heard progress. All right. Thank you, Councilman Brown. Next, we have Parks and Recreation Committee report, Chairman Anders.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing for official action this evening. Just a couple call outs though. Number one, our Public Works Department, the pool had a problem that could have, shut it down for several days to weeks, and they were able to obtain a new part, get the pool up and running within 2 days. They just jumped into action, and they deserve some credit for, making sure that the pool got back up and running when we did have an issue there. So I wanted to make sure we acknowledge them. The second is just an update that our, we're progressing with Lions Park. The bathroom building is up there. They're working on fitting it out. You'll see, dugouts and things taking shape over there. And we should hopefully have the playground equipment installed in the next couple months and have a new playground there for the public. And that was one of the things. yeah, ribbon cutting for that. And that was one of the things that, we were acknowledged for was our parks. And that's something that we are doing and taking care of. So again, I'll acknowledge the Public Works Department because they are doing the installs on a lot of those materials. We do meet next Thursday, October 20th, this Thursday at 4:45 p.m. With that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Next, we have Public Safety Committee report. Councilwoman Buckman.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 3 items that we need to review. Is it on? We have 3 items that we need to review. The first one would be the ordinance 1289 for requests for a handicap parking spot at 217 North 7th Street. All the paperwork was submitted and I'm making a motion for that to go through.
I'll second it.
Motion by Councilwoman Buckman, seconded by Councilman Labenberg. Any comments or questions?
For the record, this is the second reading, so if you pass it, it's adopted as ordinance tonight.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? No.
No, roll call vote.
Whoop. See, thanks for keeping everyone in check. All right.
You mean you?
It's not always me. Councilwoman Buckman,
Yes.
Councilman Anders,
Aye.
Councilman Labenberg,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilwoman Brem,
Aye.
Councilman Balliet,
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne, aye, passes 7-0.
Okay, the next is ordinance 1290. And this is for another handicap parking spot at 368 Broad Street. All paperwork was filed.
Councilwoman Buckman,
Yes.
just read you can
Just read the
read the whole thing and that will be sufficient.
Okay.
I probably didn't mention that to you before.
No.
I learned that way in the beginning too.
All right. That makes it much easier. An ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending chapter 15, 602.3.a of the Emmaus Borough Code, adding residential disability parking sign and assigning permanent parking space to the public street located in front of 368 Broad Street in the Borough of Emmaus. That would be ordinance 1290. Didn't I say that?
And you put that in the form of a motion.
Then I'm gonna put that in the form of a
And I'll
motion.
second that.
Who seconded that?
Roy.
I did.
Motion by Councilwoman Buckman, seconded by Councilman Anders. Any other comments or questions? Roll call vote. I can remember when it's that short. Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Councilwoman Buckman,
Aye.
Councilman Anders,
Aye.
Councilman Labenberg,
Aye.
Councilman Balliet,
Aye.
Councilwoman Brem,
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne, aye. Passes, ordinance number 1290 passes 7-0.
Second reading will be the second meeting in September,
Second reading will be the second meeting in September.
which will be the 21st.
It's September 21st. Thank you.
Okay, and I have ordinance 1291 for Adrian Street, two-way street.
So, section.
Do we?
Yeah, you want to read that?
Oh, that's not on here.
Do you want me to explain this one a little bit, Mrs.
Yeah.
Buckman? Do you want me to explain the
Yeah,
details of this one?
let's let
Yeah.
Shane explain it and then you can.
You didn't read it yet.
Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Um,
The one second.
here, I can read it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Shane.
So I'm
Her iPad flipped off.
Okay. So ordinance 1291 is reducing the length of the one-way street on Adrian. We received a request from the property owner of 308 Broad Street. Inside of your iPad, you'll see photos. I would recommend that you look at those so you have an understanding of what the request is. Essentially at 3rd and Adrian, all the way to 4th and Adrian. And just so you know, inside the ordinance, you see the word Adrian. That's how the code says. It actually says in our code Adrian. So we're removing that. We're changing the length. We would be changing the length of the one way. So right now, from 3rd all the way to 4th Street is a one way coming from 4th Street to 3rd. He's asking that we change that to a two-way from 3rd to the end of his property. You'll already see that at the corner of 3rd and Adrian, there is a house there with a small parking lot. That individual may or may not already be using or going up the road the wrong way for that 15 feet to her parking lot. He's asking, because they're building a 12-unit apartment building on 308 Broad, the parking lot will be in the back. There have been some concerns about how narrow the street is on Adrian and the amount of traffic that would create. It would be much easier and would not affect the residences towards 4th Street if we were to turn that one way into a two-way to the telephone poles just beyond the property abutting the rear of 308 Broad. And I think I kind of pointed that out in the drawings. If you look at it, the drawings, you'll see the two telephone poles. We did the measurements. It's inside the ordinance. Essentially, it's like 100 and some feet would be two-way. So you can come off of 3rd Street essentially and go into the parking lot. That's what he's trying to accomplish. That's what he's asking for.
My only question was, it is wide enough there, right? Because it kind of is a little skinny.
That question was brought up at the committee meeting, and the first responders are at the committee meeting, and they weighed in that yes, the change would work for them.
Okay, that's all I was concerned
Yeah.
with was the width. Thank
The
you.
entranceway to the apartment
Yeah.
complex is in the back.
Right.
So
I know.
the entranceway into the apartment is actually from the parking lot on Adrian.
Yeah.
But it's a Broad Street.
But it's a Broad Street address, yes.
Okay.
So that's the request that was made. And again, because the committee felt that this was benefiting an individual's development, even though it's going to be 12 units and everybody that lives there, and it will kind of benefit everybody that lives up the road. They felt, though, that it should be a responsibility of that developer for the cost of advertising the ordinance and the signage that's going to be changed.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1291.
Motion by Councilman Labenberg. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman Brown?
Do we have to put the contingency in that motion?
So I would actually recommend that you do put that contingency in the motion.
Yeah,
The
so
motion
in the
to approve
notes,
that they pay the costs of the advertisement.
I'll amend my motion.
And you'll need a
And I'll amend my second.
Okay.
yeah.
So-
And again, that motions to, that the requester shall pay for the cost of the advertising and signage per our committee vote. Just
All right,
making sure.
Were they aware of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
We told it. I've had that conversation with them verbally, but
Okay,
Council
so it won't be a
votes,
shock.
I would put it to them in writing. though.
All right,
But
thank you.
and this motion will put them on notice.
so are there any comments or questions? I do have a question. So can we being council, if it meets the same fact set as Shane just set out, where it's for the developer and that's the only person, the only party who's gaining from it, that we can have an ordinance or a policy that says that happens automatically if we approve it, unless they
So the answer to that's a little more complex. You usually would do these on an ad hoc basis because it really does depend on the specific scenario. That this one, because the committee discussed it, you're addending it to your motion because they are they are the one benefiting it. But there are other times that Borough Council may seem this to be appropriate for more than just that developer. Therefore, it would be a more appropriate borough expense. So you could pass an ordinance and, Mr. Pepe could draft one, or myself or my office could, but I would point out to you that it's oftentimes better to do these as they arise, because
It often is better to do.
so because a blanket ordinance may not be appropriate.
So what about just an internal policy, not necessarily an ordinance, but it's an internal policy the council adopts that in these specific types of cases, it would trigger us adding that as part of the provision.
You could absolutely do that as an
We
internal
could.
policy as well.
So remember, we're not voting on that tonight, but we could do that at a future.
You could make it a policy or even a resolution, which would then put the developers on notice. You could do that, but an ordinance needs to be advertised appropriately.
Policy is easier to enforce than generally easier to enforce than.
Yes, but like I said,
I
give yourself some leeway.
Nothing's easy.
How
I
you
get it.
do this.
Okay, so that we are not voting on that part. We're just voting on the ordinance 1291 here. Any other comments or questions? Roll call vote. Councilwoman Buckman,
Aye.
Councilman Anders,
Aye.
Councilman Lavenberg,
Aye.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Megan's asking.
Councilman Balliot,
Aye.
Councilwoman Brem,
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne, aye, passes 7-0.
And
Excuse me.
and I apologize.
She had her hand.
Mrs. Brem had her hand up and I didn't see it.
No,
Sorry.
I just, no, it's okay. Just that I was muted.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, Megan.
Yep, all good.
And that would, if we wanted to discuss in committee the policy, that would go to general administration would be the best place to put that, correct? We meet.
That one I would defer to Mr. Pepe.
That's fine.
Okay, we should discuss that in general administration and see if we do want to make that a policy. Okay? Thank you. Any Councilwoman Buckman yet?
Okay, I just have the meeting minutes that are attached, and our next meeting is September 9th at 9 a.m. Progress.
Thank you. Next, we have General Administration Committee Report, Councilman Lavenberg.
Yes, nothing to report, and our next meeting is this Wednesday, 9 a.m. Progress.
Thank you. Budget and Finance Committee Report, myself. We have bill list, which is resolution 2026-25, resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the August 17, 2026 bill list as follows. Bill list, $2,027,653.73. Payrolls, number 15 and number 16, $465,538.67. Payroll taxes, $149,645.17 for a total of $2,642,837.57, done this 17th of August, 2026. Does anyone want to put that in, make a motion for that? Councilman Lavenberg, is there a second? Councilwoman Buckman, any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed signify by saying no. Passes 7-0. The bill list memo, the check register, and the payment approval report are in the packet. You can also see the significant revenue and expenses for the first half of August 2026 and the budget performance for August of 2026. Our next meeting is this Wednesday, August 19th at 11 a.m. and I report progress. Next, Community Relations, Planning and Development Committee report, Councilwoman Brem.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have not met since our last meeting. Our next meeting is August 19th at 4:45 p.m. Progress.
Thank you. You can see the board and commission reports in the packet from the Joint Environmental Advisory Council, the Historical Commission notes, and the Pension Board meeting minutes notes are in there. Next, we have Personal Appeals Part 2. Does anybody from the public have a personal appeal? If so, come to the podium and state your name and address. Nobody in the public, and we have no public online. So next we have the Borough Manager's Report.
So a couple things. First of all, thank you for mentioning the America 250. That was quite an event. We were very proud of the turnout. Great attendance, great weather. So thank you again. Now moving on. We received 850 applications for a single clerical position. They have all been reviewed. We have begun the interview process of 22 people, I believe. We spent all day Friday and most of this week doing interviews. The team will have that narrowed down by the beginning of next week to have final round interviews in the next few weeks, with the hope that Emmaus Borough Council can make a hiring decision on September 8th so that we can get the individual in here and working with Teresa before she retires at the end of the year. So moving forward with that, you want to see the applications? We have about 10 stacks of paper this high. The next thing that I have for you is Danielle Himes has completed her probationary period as a firefighter. So we would ask that you vote to retain the employment of firefighter Danielle Himes.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Anders. Is there a second? Councilman Lavenberg. Any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed signify by saying no. Passes 7-0.
I hired a part-time paramedic. His name is Jason Kistler. Hired him today. Jason has been in EMS since he was 17. He's been a paramedic for over a decade and was an EMT prior to that. So we're very, very happy to bring him on as a part-time paramedic. We will also be advertising for the open full-time paramedic position. I do believe there are a couple part-time individuals that may express interest, but we'll be advertising for the full-time paramedic position. And just so you know, hiring a full-time paramedic is almost as challenging as hiring a full-time police officer. I mean, that's the turnout is almost the same. It's the EMS, firefighters, and police officers. When they say it's a challenge to hire, it's all three of them. And so public safety, I know, talked a little bit the other day about challenges with fire. One thing the council is going to be faced with soon is the shutdown of the Bucks County firefighter training facility and what that means to our firefighters and the requirements that we have for a person to be an employed firefighter in our borough. Because Bucks County was the place where they went to get all those certifications, all that training. And without that facility, there's nobody stepping up yet, which may mean we need to think outside the box in the future, thinking on a Lehigh County, Lehigh Valley regional training basis. And so I want to put that out there because this is going to be a challenge for all of us collectively. And I do know that the county has already begun some preliminary discussions, although nobody has a plan in place. I will tell you that. But I do applaud the idea that they at least recognize as well that challenge is out there. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will report progress.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to thank everyone in the back of the room here who did come and attend the whole meeting, and for your patience and for taking the time to come out and see what happens in a borough council meeting. We thank you. Next, we will have an executive session to discuss personnel and administration. No final decisions or votes will be taken regarding this matter. So we will recess before that in case the press has any questions that they can ask. So we will recess at 7:22. Session 8:13 PM. Whoops.
Go ahead,
Oh,
do
you
it
got
again.
one?
Yeah, do it again.
Came out at 8:13 PM. Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
moved.
Motion by Councilman Lavenberg, second by Councilwoman Buckman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. Passes 7-0. We're adjourned at 8:13 PM.
So I was on.
Have a good night, everybody.